That would come on quick. All right. Great rise, and moonlight's beloved. You know who this is. You know what it is. It's your girl, Queen Goddess, the King Advocate. It is Melanated Mondays. So come on in here. For those of you who are not out getting tricked or tricking, come on in here so we can have an intelligent, informational conversation. All right, we got some things to talk about. I have been provoked yet again to discuss some things that need to be talked about. So come on in if you want to share this video. By all means, do so. If you want to participate in the conversation live, please do so. You will be able to call your if you want to just type them in. What's going on, Phoenix Rising? Thank you, loved one, for being here. I appreciate you. Waiting on other folks to come on in. Oh, here they come. That's what's up. What's going on, Mr. Thornton? Hope all is well. Appreciate you for being here. And those of you who are coming in, keep on coming, keep on coming. We're going to have well, you know how we do. You already know. I have already put out the disclaimer. I have warned people ahead of time what this is. What's up, D Mays? Thank you, loved one, for being here. I appreciate you. This is not going to be a conversation for the lighthearted. It is not going to be a conversation for people who don't already know how I get down. Okay. I saw something and it's been on repeat. So it won't let me get away from it. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to get in depth. So, as you have seen, the title of what we're talking about is White, the New Black. Should have been a question mark. But I'm going to give people one more minute and we're going to get started. I'm going to explain what this bullshit is, because that's exactly what it is. Okay. So again, for those of you who are new to me, not yet. I saw that it was done, but I haven't got a chance to see it. So after the show, I'm gonna watch it for sure. For those of you who are new to me, I will again give this disclaimer. You can say what you want. You can bring your comments, your questions, your concerns, your mama, your friends, your frenemies, whatever. Bring everything you want, but do not. I repeat, do not bring your damn feelings here. My goal is to smash them. And it's not because I don't care, it's because I do care. I love you too much to care about your feelings, though. Feelings falsify facts, and that's not what we about here. I'm gonna give it to you like a TI is. And if you don't like it, you can make a left. I'm good with that. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So again, the title of tonight's show is White, the Black. Now, the reason we're talking about this, like I said, I saw something that's been on repeat since this new selection. You see it since the new selection is coming about. Um, and I can't remember the organization that is doing the commercial, but it deals with white people feeling discriminated against. A whole commercial talks about white people being discriminated against, which they don't have access to. What's going on, DJ Moody? I appreciate you. A lot of things. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this, and like I said, I already know some folks gonna be pissed off. Better pissed off than pissed on. That's all I can tell you. So let's move on. So the first thing I want to discuss with you, give you white fragility is, because I mentioned that in the description. That's going to be one of the topics within a topic that we're going to discuss. You got to get an understanding as to what it is, and how it affects certain people. Okay, so y'all know what something being fragile is. Okay, I don't have to go into that, I guess. But white fragility is a discomfort and a defensiveness when confronted by information about racial inequality or injustice. So basically, it is how white people feel when you bring up the subject of racism, or any type of racial inequality, injustice, anything dealing with race. When you're talking to white people, this is how they feel. honey, if they look, I make no promises, D Mays. I make no promises. But yeah, so again, white fragility is the discomfort and defensiveness when confronted by information about racial inequality and injustice. I don't know if you've ever tried to have a conversation about race with white people and they change colors, but we the colored ones, they change colors or they will like change the subject or give you some type of cliche remark or give you this smile, whatever. Like I'm really fearful for my life, but I'm gonna just smile and maybe it'll change. Kind of look, we can discuss all of that. Okay. So you got the definition of white fragility. So hold on to remember it. Then we also have to, I got you. Then we also have to discuss the definition of race. So I'm gonna give you some definitions of things because it's necessary for you to understand what's happening here. What is race? So the way we've been taught, the way we understand it, it deals with a group of people of a particular nationality. Okay. The truth is that race in itself is a made up construct. Okay. It is a socially constructed concept that was created to justify the inequality. It was also created in order to protect white privilege. So it is not something that we are quote unquote born into. It is not something that is just natural. Race in itself, as we know it, is a created concept that was created in order to justify the inequality, the injustices, and to protect white privileges, to protect their advantage. It was created for them. Okay. So then you have racism. What is racism? Well, racism is a system. It's a system of prejudice, discrimination, and oppression that is directed against a particular person or people based on their membership in an ethnic group. So I'll repeat that. Racism is the system of prejudice, discrimination, and oppression directed against a particular person or group or people based on their membership in an ethnic group. It is systemic oppression of a racial group um, to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. I'm going to read that again. Systemic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, political advantage of another. Okay? You have to keep this in mind in regards to what we're talking about. Okay? Racism is racism gave birth to the concept of race. Okay? Um, the initial issue, if you will, was never about the color of a person's skin. It was never about that. It was always about the exploitation of the resource. It was a means of it. It was about finding a way to justify why somebody had a right to go in and take somebody's shit, or why they had a right to go in and um, be oppressive. So I said the racism gave birth to race, but it was always about exploiting the resources. Race was created to justify the exploitation. Race was created to justify the exploitation, the inequality, the injustice. Hold on to that. Okay. And again, I'm going to read again the definition of one of the definitions of racism. the systemic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. You hear what's going on right now is that white people are claiming to be experiencing racism because they don't have, or they're saying they don't have access to certain things, certain organizations, certain resources that the so-called minority would have. They're trying to blame it upon the color of one's skin as to why they don't have access. And they feel that it's unfair, that they should not be discriminated against based on the color of their skin. They should have access to things that have been designated specifically to people of melanated tone, those who are the people known as Black, okay? They feel they should have access to these resources. So they have put together an organization. I can't remember what it's called actually, but you'll see the commercials. What's going on, Anthony? I see you. Put together an organization that basically says to stop the racism against white people. They should not be disregarded or overlooked because of the color of their skin. And I'm going to pause because at this point, I don't want laughter to come out because it's not funny. It's not. It's not funny, haha. Okay, it's ridiculous. But exactly. What's going on, Patricia? Thanks for being here, loved one. This is what they're doing. Okay, and they're having all types of movements and working on laws and protections and whatnot in order to save themselves from being victims of racism. So again, one more time, I got to read this definition. I need you to get this in your mind. Get it in your mind, because Dr. Claude Anderson also made note of this. Powernomics. Please get the book, okay? Read it. Reading is fundamental. Please get it. He made note. But again, I'm going to read this again. As far as racism is a systemic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. That means racism is a system created by a group of people that oppress socially, economically, and politically for their own gain. They oppress people who are considered, or whom they consider to be lower class, deprived in some way. We'll just go with that, okay? Keep that in mind now, okay? We're gonna move on. Here's where I'm stuck. In order for a person to say that reverse racism has occurred or is occurring, for it to be in reverse is an admittance that it is going forward, that it lives, right? It is being driven, it exists, that you are now a victim of what you have caused others to be a victim of. Now it's on you. But to say that racism doesn't exist, oh no, we're not racist, then how can reverse racism occur if the forward racism wasn't already in drive? What's going on, Tony? Thank you for being here, loved one. This is what we're dealing with now, people. Reverse racism. But again, according to the definition of racism being a systemic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. Based on that definition, how in the hell can Black people or so called Black people ever be racist when we do not have a systemic anything dealing with politics, socialism, or economics? We don't have a system set up that way. We are not self-governed in order to, we're not established in order to cause another group of people to be oppressed under us. Somebody help me out here. Help me out. Talk to me. Am I wrong? Am I tripping? In order to be racist or to be classified as racism, there has to be some form of system place that allows a people to oppress other people on the basis of socialism, economics, and politics. How are we even able to be looked at as racist? But this is what's being pushed right now. This is what's being pushed right now, that Black people and Black organizations or organizations that cater to Black people are prejudiced, are practicing racism against white people because they don't have access to the resources. They don't have access to the organization, to the benefits of the organization. They can't just go in there and take that. They don't qualify based on the color of their skin, as they'll say. They don't qualify. But based on the color of, no, it's not. I'm not even gonna lie. Based on our lack of systemic development, we don't qualify to be racist. We don't qualify. But again, this is what's being pushed. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please share. Or if you would like to call, please do so 770-906-5271. 770-906-5271. So in going back to the fragility of white people, and for those of you who are just joining me, we're talking about white fragility, which is basically how white people feel when they are confronted with racial issues. They feel fragile. Okay, whatever. But this is a real thing. This is White Fragility is also a book. I'm not sure what the author's name is, but you can find it on like Audible. White Fragility. I would advise you to get it. White Fragility. And it's narrated and written by a white woman. So get it. She ain't telling no lies. As far as how white people see, how they view or understand racism, is really based out of ignorance. They have no considered like mainstream resource, that there's no resource that actually truly defines for them what racism is. So they base their understanding on complete ignorance or emotionalism. There's no way for them to understand it because they totally disconnect from it, because they don't have to even acknowledge that it exists, because they've always been made to be the main people. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't affect them. It affects everybody else, though. It affects everybody except them because they are the standard, if you will. Anything outside of them would be subjected to racial injustices and equality, racism, period. They don't get it. They don't understand it. They don't overstand it or understand it at all. So how they respond to it is really from an emotional standpoint. It really from completely ignorant. They ain't got a clue at all. So and it's taught that, let's keep that in mind too. Racism, this whole system is taught. Hatred, prejudice is taught. So they've learned generation by generation by generation what racism is by somebody or somebodies that felt some type of way. Feelings. What I tell, hello, y'all see it? Fuck your feelings. You see it. That's why I tell you all the time. Feelings falsify facts in every situation. They falsify facts. Pay attention to the facts. So anyway, they have never been put in a position where they have to discuss race. Now there are some times where, like in work situations, where they may have to take a class or whatever, read a book, or on Black people, they'll read a quick little history, like sensitivity stuff, y'all know what I'm saying, sensitivity toward minorities or whatever. That does not equate to overstanding racism at all, and y'all know this. But this is how, that's as far as they can connect. The fragility part won't allow them to connect any further than that, because what happens is this: once you are confronted with information about yourself that you don't like, in defense, now this can go for anybody, in defense, you will find a way to shut it down, to turn it off, to completely disconnect from it, because you don't want to see yourself as that. You don't want to see the truth about you when somebody's bringing it to you. This can be, like I said, very general, but in dealing with the white fragility, this is what happens. They completely disconnect from what's being said because they don't want to look at themselves. They don't want to be forced to look at themselves in any other way other than how they've been taught to see themselves. They've been taught to see themselves as superior and as the standard race, the standard group of people. This is what you should want to be. This is the power. This is the everything. If you are white, then you right, that kind of thing. So once they are confronted with anything that sounds contrary to that or takes away from them believing that everything they've been told about themselves is true or false, shut it down. We ain't trying to hear it. They shut that down. They'll find a way to deflect, turn it back on you some type of way, or come up with these little weak ass cliches. Well, can we just get along? Can we all just get along? Or I believe that understanding people starts in the home and we should just love one another, that kind of bullshit, yeah. Or they'll go into how they were taught. I was taught that every person should be respected and everyone should be treated the same. This is how they respond, because that gives them a way out. That gives them permission to not have to look into self and see if whatever's being said about them relates. This removes them from any form of accountability. They can now say, well, I don't do that. So once they're able to say, well, I don't do that, they completely disconnect from it. They don't get it. They don't have to get it. This is also where the phrase ignorance is bliss comes in. If you don't know, then you're happy. You can just be happy because you don't know that you are racist. Nobody told you the truth for real. You don't see it, or you're going to deny seeing it so you can just be happy, or plausible deniability. Well, as long as you didn't tell me and I didn't ask, I don't know. I can't be held responsible. I don't know what you're talking about. You can't blame it on me. You can't blame your oppression on me because I didn't know about it. I didn't do it. My people didn't do that to you. This type of shit. What's going on, Miss Carla? Thank you, loved one, for being here. I appreciate you. Again, if you all have any questions, comments, or concerns, please share them by all means, and feel free to share this video as well. Like I said, it's gonna piss some folks off, but it's just gonna have to piss them off. My job is to give you information to arm you against things that are coming or that are already here that you're not seeing with your spiritual eyes because your physical eyes got you blinded. That's my job. And that's all I'm doing is giving you the information. Okay. If you don't like the information, then you got to talk to my source. I ain't got nothing to do with that. So one of the there are ways that they learn to disconnect. Let me try to think what it's called. Give me a sec. It's a phrase for it, for how they respond to these. Oh, the social forces. That's what they're called. What's going on, George? Thank you for being here, loved one. The social forces. So the social forces would be certitude, which means absolute certainty. They're confident in what they think they know. Their defensiveness, there's pushback and silence. So these are the ways that they would respond when being faced with or confronted with racial issues. They get defensive about it. Like I said, they'll say, well, I didn't do that, and my family never did that. My family didn't own slaves, or my best friend is Black, and we grew up around Black people, that type of shit. Silence, of course, you know what that means? That means they don't say anything at all. They'll completely either to shut down, walk away, or change the subject. Anything to not have to even possibly find themselves thinking, could this be me? Because one of the most heartfelt things to do, one of the most difficult things to do, is to recognize the representative in yourself, to recognize that you have been living a lie and that you have been told a lie continuously all your life by everybody that you love and trust. Nobody wants to see themselves as being imperfect, even though we'll all say, well, I'm not perfect, but your mind is saying, but yes, you are. Because the mind does not want you to, let's see, how can I say? The mind will correct itself. So if it sees or if it receives information that is contrary to what it already has processed as truth, it will find a way to flip the true information so that it satisfies what your representative's mind, emotion, thought, feeling, whatever is processing. My mind says, and I'm just trying to make this more clear for you. If your mind says that you are the most beautiful thing in the world, you have all of the money, you have all of the resources, you are just super amazing, you have no flaws whatsoever, you are just all of this, and then something comes in and says, you got $2 in the bank account, you look like the bottom of a shoe, whatever, your brain's going to process and be like, no, that's not correct, because see, we've always told you that you are the most beautiful thing and that you're super rich and that you have blah, blah, blah. It's going to find a way to process what it wants you to, basically what you want to be live. It will find a way to make that true for you. I hope that clears some things up. The brain is something else, the mind is something else, but this is what's going on with white people in their white fragility. The brain, their mind is so shut down to receiving the possibility that what they've been told, what they think of themselves, the status that they're in, the history that they believe they are part of or that they created, they shut it down, or they'll blame the oppressed for what's actually happening. So instead of acknowledging that the system was created to oppress these people and You got one system that's connected to another system that's connected to another system. So there's no way that a person or a group of people that is oppressed can get out, because all of these systems are connected. So instead of looking at, well, wow, this is the problem, it's all of these things, there is no way out, they'll individualize things by saying, well, you should just get a get a degree, go back to school, get a degree, so you don't have this, you don't have to be in poverty, you don't have to live in poverty, you can have whatever you want, you just put your mind to it. You know what I'm saying? They make it seem like it's just so simple, like it is just a 1, 2, 3 easy way out. That's individualizing things. They make it so that it's your fault, it's got to be you. Or even if it's a, when I'm saying individual, that could also just mean an individual group of people. Okay, it's you all's fault because you all are just out here killing each other, and you all are stealing from each other. But the reason this is happening is because of this system that doesn't allow for blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Skip the whole systemic part. They skip over all of that. They find a way to blame and justify everything else. What's going on, Milton Master Stepper? Thank you, loved one, for being here. This is your first time. I appreciate you. I hope you can stick around. Again, for those of you who want to call in and join this conversation live, feel free to do so. The number is 770-906-5271, 770-906-5271. Tonight's discussion, the topic says white, the new black. We're dealing with white fragility and the concept of reverse racism. And again, the reason for the conversation tonight is because of a commercial that I'm repeatedly seeing and hearing, where white people are now claiming to be victims of racism because they don't have access to some of the resources that are afforded only to the so-called minority people. They want to be able to get into these HBCUs. They want to have access to the NAACP, this type of stuff. This trips me out. See, they want access to the resources, but they don't really want all that comes with being black. You want to exploit the black, but you don't want to truly experience the black. You know what I'm saying? But this is what's going on, and you all need to know that, because they are trying to find ways to justify why they should have access and rights to those things that are afforded strictly to melanated people, black people. I'm gonna say melanated people because they don't care. All they know is that in their minds, it's because of their white skin that they are being discriminated against. They are victims of racism. And as I will repeat this, there's no way in hell that black people in particular can be racist based on the definition of racism being a systemic oppression, dealing with socialism, economics, and politics. We do not have the resources to be oppressors. First of all, we don't have the resources to dictate to anybody what we want them to do. We don't have the ability to do that. There's no way that we can be racist. What's going on, family? Arlen, what's going on, love? I appreciate you for being here. There's no way that we can be racist. Okay. But again, this is what's coming up. You will probably hear this during the election. I'm sorry, the selection season. You're going to hear about it. There are going to be some parties that right now it's left wing. Okay. Whatever that is, left wing is promoting this reverse racism, whereby white people are the victims. And I ask the question again, for those white people who believe that racism does not occur or that it's over, If that is the case, then reverse racism would not be a thing. In order for it to be in reverse, it would have had to have been in drive. Correct? That's an admittance that it's happening. So when it's happening now to you, it's reverse. So that's an acknowledgement that you're doing it, that you are a racist, that you practice racism, because you're now saying the system that you created is now affecting you and you don't like that. It's so many other things I want to say, but I'm gonna keep it clean. But read the shirt. I mean, that really says it all. Again, if you all want to call in, do so. 770-906-5271. 770-906-5271. Again, white people have defined racism in such a way that it basically removes them from any type of accountability, from any connection to it. Because what they'll say is that, well, I don't do that. I don't think that way. I have never said that. I have black friends. My maid's black. You know what I'm saying? They're true. They're having this issue, but you're going to see it. You're going to see it a lot during the selection process. Right now, Left Wing has created an organization that focuses on racism against white people based on the color of their skin. This is a slap in the face. First of all, it is making fun of. I would say making fun of, making light of. But then you also have to look at if this ideology is taken seriously and laws are created or statutes are created to protect them, to give them yet more access. If this happens, how much more are we going to be affected by racism? How much more are we going to be oppressed? How much more? It's so many things that we as a people need to be doing. And I'm going to go over it in a whole other show because I need to. It's going to be another show, maybe next week. But there's so many other things that we need to be doing instead of, and I know you all have probably gone out there and voted or getting ready to vote. I'm going to put this in your ear. If you pay attention to history, and again, we're going to always be told to think about what our ancestors fought and died for, the right for us to vote. They didn't know any better. What they knew was to be included. They were fighting to be included in something because they were being excluded. They were fighting specifically and only to be included in a system because they were being excluded from the system. As a people, we do not need to keep fighting back and forth about who to put in these offices to change their system. It's like trying to vote an officer in an army or any type of military regime or whatever against us. We're going to vote on who we want to take us out. Think about it. We're going to vote for who we want to take us out. When history says no matter who you think you're voting for, no matter what name you put on the ballot, we've been fighting for the same shit since we've been asking for the right to vote in their system. This is the part we're missing. It's still their system. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It doesn't matter. And you'll hear it. No, we got to vote for these people because they're going to blah, blah, blah. If this was the case, if our vote in their system was actually going to cause changes for our good, there would be continuous changes. We wouldn't have to keep voting for somebody. We wouldn't keep being in the same situations that we're in and that we've been in for how many decades now? Just think about it. We're perpetuating what it is we're saying we're fighting against. We keep causing these things to happen to us because we are so conditioned to accept what we're told we're supposed to do. And then they use our ancestors. They fought and died for you to have this right as a weapon, as a means to control and manipulate. So you go out and do it again and put somebody else in office that's going to keep doing the same shit that you're trying to get out of in the first place. Just think and pay attention. What have we overcome? What has been different? What has been made different for us? And I don't mean for a moment. I don't mean for a couple of years. I mean continuously. Because again, today, October 31st, 2022, we're still having a conversation about racism. And now we're talking about reverse racism. So what has changed? What are we really doing? What are we asking for? Why are we not trying to create our own system to get out of the system that we're in that's oppressing us in the system? Why are we not trying to create our own political system, our own social system, our own educational system? Why are we not doing that? Why are we voting to see who's going to be in their political system, in their social system, in their economic system to continue to oppress us? What are we doing? Again, we are doing the same thing. History keeps repeating itself because the mind keeps thinking and processing the same information, false information. The brain, the mind is processing the same shit over and over and over again. Feelings have now become attached to this false information. Now you feel obligated to oblige the system. You feel obligated to keep feeding the monster that keep coming after you. You're feeding the master. You keep giving permission to the master to hold you hostage, to keep oppressing, because now you selected, you elected, you voted for who you now want as your assistant master. Stop it. And again, I know some folks are going to be pissed off. Like I said, better to be pissed off than pissed on. So take it as you will. But think and pay attention to what's happening. This is a game. And as long as we keep playing the game in their system, we will not win. There's no way of winning because we didn't create the game. We didn't create the rules. We didn't even decide if we wanted to participate in the game. We didn't decide which pieces we were going to be. We got thrown into it. and then just adapt it to the game. Now you're inside the game, so you can't see out. You don't see what's really happening because you're in it. Seven 906-5271. If you would like to call in, you want to cuss me out, you want to tell me I'm wrong, you want to share something, do what you want. 770-906-5271. Do you all have any questions? Is there anything that I can answer for you? Again, we are talking about white, the new black. And I'm saying it that way because white people are trying to enforce the idea of reverse racism, but not take accountability for racism. They want to benefit. They want to benefit from racism, from what they're doing to people. They want to benefit from it. Again, by blaming the victim of the racism. You're going to blame the oppressed for being oppressed, one, and also for being the oppressor. Where in that are you accountable? What part do you play? T. Harp, what's going on, loved one? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. The whole accountability for these people is being removed and being placed on us, and we don't see it. They're holding us responsible for everything that's going on with us, or to us, or against us, on top of us, beneath us, and around us. It's our fault. Everything. The creation of the system. Oh, that's y'all did that. How? You stole all my resources. You prevented us from having access to anything that would allow me to build anything. But I'm the builder of the system that's oppressing me. Why would I even do that? Why would I create a system and build it myself as a people to oppress myself? Does that make sense? But that's what's happening. This is what's happening. So if this is the case, like I said, if this becomes real, if this becomes law in any way, any type of statute, if it reaches anybody's office or whatever, we're going to be in some real shit. Let me see. You said they know how their folks treated. Absolutely, but this is why they're using reverse racism. Because as long as they use that, or as long as they are so fragile, they use the white fragility, they avoid the conversation of any type of racial issue. They don't have to look at themselves and say, yeah, we did that. Yeah, we did that. We did that to y'all. They're not doing that. They're not doing it. They're not taking accountability for any of that. They're trying to make it so that the people that they have oppressed become the oppressors. So if we become the oppressors, they get more rights. They get more privileges. They will start, thank you. They will get reparations. They will get reparations. Pull it up, T. Hart. Psalms 58:3. Pull it up. Now imagine what that looks like. Your oppressor is going to get paid for oppressing you because they said, my slave has tried to enslave me. I need to be paid for that. I feel broken. I'm fragile. Come on now. Pay attention. Pay attention. This is some real shit here. You say when we figure out the game, they change the rules. Absolutely. But here's the thing, like I said, we're too busy still trying to play the game instead of get off the board. Stop. We don't have to play the game. Let them play solitaire. Let them do that. We don't have to play the game. But because we are so conditioned to play, we're so conditioned to look at each other as opponents, we're stuck in it. We don't see that we, the people, are the resources. We have everything we need as a people to stop repeating history. The Most High is trying to show us in so many ways. We do not have to keep doing this, but we're not ready to fight for our freedom. We're not ready to die for our freedom. We're not ready to do none of that. We want to sit back and wait on the Lord, wait on the rapture. Jesus is coming. Really? The Savior? We it. We're supposed to be saving ourselves at this point. We have the ability to save ourselves if we change our minds, clean and clear our minds. We are in an oppressive mindset, blinded by the world. We're stuck mentally, psychologically, emotionally in the system, which is how we are able to be physically bound in and by the system. We've given away our freedom. We've given away our resources. We've given away our thoughts, our minds. Miss Carla says Black Americans just need to be bold when it comes down to fighting for equality. Stop waiting for America to wake up and do the right thing. Absolutely. But the reason that doesn't happen is because history now keeps replaying. So history says every time a Black man stands up to fight for Black people, he get assassinated. We don't want that, son. I don't want you to fight for us because I don't want them to kill you. Sis, I don't want you to say nothing because I don't want them throwing you off the bus, or I don't want them hanging you and saying that you committed suicide. I don't want them doing that to you. History replays in our minds, so we don't do anything to move forward. We stay in the past. We get stuck. We're frozen in history. His story. We're frozen in the past. We're frozen in what we're told is the past, our history. But that ain't what it says. It doesn't say our history. It says his story. We're frozen in it. We keep replaying that. This is why I'm saying we have to change our minds. We have to get access, regain control of our own mind. T. Harp says, or he's showing Psalms 58:3, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as they be born, speaking lies. Yes, indeed. What's going on, sis DJ? I see you. Thank you, loved one, for being here. Absolutely, Tony. His story. He said, all true. Watch the contracts that you make with the system. Absolutely. That's another thing, and I'm guilty. We get to signing any damn thing, any and everything in this here system because we want something that we want for the right now. We want something that we want for the right now, which is why we right here, right now. 770-906-5271 if you would like to call. 770-906-5271. For those of you who are just joining me, again, tonight's discussion is white fragility, white the new black, and reverse racism. Reverse racism. This is a thing, okay? During this selection time, it is being promoted that white people are now being victimized by racism. They are victims of racism. I have stated that if this thing, this ideology becomes a law, a statute, or even a continuous thought, a spoken word, whatever, the oppressors will then have a right because they will now be classified as a protected class. They will be a protected class of people. They will have the right to ask for and will probably get reparations because they have been discriminated against. Just ponder that. To look your massa in the face, who you know is totally wrong, has stolen from you, has beaten you, has killed, all of these things. Look your massa in the face, and he says, I feel some type of way. I feel that you're discriminating against me, or to just watch him and her receive reparations, receive a reward for being an oppressor just because they said, I felt discriminated against. A whole new system is being created here. Pay attention. Stop repeating history. Stop being told. Stop being convinced that you must go out and cast your vote for somebody to rule over you in their system in order for things to change, because his story and our story, our experiences daily show that it does not make a difference. It's not ever going to make a difference within their system. It's never going to make a difference in their system. Stop fighting to be a part of the system and start fighting to be a part from the system. I think I have said all that needs to be said. T. Harp, you right. You said signing our rights away. Absolutely. All of them. All of them. For those people who are receiving any type of benefit, any type of aid, governmental aid or whatever, if this thing, if this ideology goes any further than just an ideology, you can best believe you will not be receiving any assistance. You can believe that. You can know it for certain. Your medical, your food, your any other type of subsidy, whatever, you not getting it. And you won't have anybody to fight on your behalf. See, there will be nobody there to say, well, no, well, he or she needs to have it. Who they going to? What's going on, G Walker? Who they going to? Nobody's going to be able to fight on your behalf. There's not going to be anybody within their system that's going to have the ability to fight for us in their system or make any type of little momentary change. It's not going to happen. Pay attention. And while you're paying attention, do something different. Take control of your own thought again, your own mind again, your resources. Take it back. We are doing everything to each other to cause us to stay in this system. When everything that we're doing to each other, if we would do it to where it need to be, we could get the hell out of this system. I'm just saying, it's sad and ridiculous, and it is not supposed to be this way. The people, the nation that the Most High set apart as her own is subservient to any other nation. How? How did the ambassadors of the Most High become slaves, become oppressed? How did that happen? How did the kings and the queens become the court jesters? How did the emperors and the empresses become the maids and butlers? How? We have allowed ourselves to live in fear. Fear has caused us to freeze and do absolutely nothing, and has caused us to believe that all we need to do is sit back and wait on the Lord. No. It is said that faith without works is dead. A people that have faith but refuse to do the work will soon perish. What's going on, Kofa? Peace. Thanks for being here. We are digging our own graves daily, momentarily, moment by moment. We are digging our own graves so deep that we're not going to be able to get out. So deep that nobody will even recognize that we in there. Reverse racism. How? We don't have the ability to do so. But for those that do, their voice matters. Their lives matter. And I'm saying that very sarcastically. So nobody quote me and say, Queen Goddess said no. Get it correct. For those who have the authority, the power, the ability to do these things, what they say is what it is. What's going on, Misty? Thank you for being here, sis. Appreciate you. What they say is. Pay attention. Pay attention. For those of you who are just coming in, you're going to absolutely have to replay this. And I'm asking you all to share this video. And I know that a lot of you will not share it because there will be a fear that if you post this on your page, you're going to get some backlash. I already know. I know how this works. This is why people don't share my stuff because there's a fear. If I post this on my page, if I share this, somebody I know gonna say something to me, or something's gonna happen to me, or my network, or somebody that something's gonna happen to me if I share some facts, some truth, some information. If I do that, something's gonna happen to me. If I fight for myself, if I fight for my people, something's gonna happen to me. This is why we are still here, because everybody's afraid to fight for one another, to fight for themselves, to fight to get the hell out of this shit, to get the hell out of the system. We're afraid to fight because we're afraid to die. But look what our ancestors did. They fought and died, and we still in this shit. We're still in the shit that they died for. We're repeating it all over again. We are in a time right now where people are seeing, and we had this conversation last week with these repeated numbers. This is how ancestors, angels, Most High communicating. We're being shown, we are being communicated with what we need to be doing, what we need to be paying attention to. How do we change his story? We do not need to keep repeating this. We have an opportunity to move forward if we stop looking backwards. We cannot move forward in reverse. We're being given an opportunity. Do you hear what I'm saying? Because it's just coming through me. We're being given an opportunity to change. But what this means is we have to change. We have to change. We can no longer sit back and wait, hope, wish. We got to get up, move, and fight. The two strongest emotions that cause movement, love and fear, are the two strongest emotions that cause movement or not. Gee, I'm trying to see what you said, honey. It went away. Wait a minute. There's a lot here. Give me a second. Give me a second. In the meantime, if you want to call and tell me what you said, you can do that. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm like, what happened? Do you all have any questions, comments, or concerns? Anything that I can answer for you, or anything that I have not touched, or anything that I touched that I need to go over again? This is the time. We have the opportunity. If you look at everything that has been going on since the pandemic, everything since then has made the playing fields level. We have all been put on the same ground, the same playing field. But because we don't know how to see spiritually, we don't know how to hear, we don't know how to move, we don't remember, let me do it that way. We don't remember how to do these things properly. We're seeing the wrong shit. We're paying attention to the wrong things. We're listening to the wrong things. What's going on, G Walker?
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How about yourself?
I don't know, prophetess. You sound like you just came from the You are absolutely right. You are absolutely correct. You can't do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. You can't sit here, and one day, let me just paraphrase everything that I said
Okay.
in my paragraph real quick.
Okay.
The bottom line is, ain't no next week we'll get them like in football. Ain't no next week we'll get them like in baseball. Ain't no next week we'll get them tomorrow like in basketball. This thing is about your soul. These people are the only good thing about this that I'm going to say about what you just said. Everything you said is absolutely correct. CORRECT.
Period. Okay.
The thing about it is that God is going to take His people away before Revelation. What you're talking about is 5, before the full, and 11 and 12, before it comes into its fullness. Before these modern day pharaohs and these modern day Caesars really take over. People don't even realize that the bumblebee the bee itself is responsible for 95 to 98% of adaptation. You're giving life to the flowers, the plants, and all these other things. They're killing off the bees. They're coming at you so many different ways. Right. You ain't even ready.
Right.
But your cousins sit up here playing. They sit up here, everything is slowly, go. This, everything leads to, why does everything lead to cancer? Why does everything lead, and then it leads to your cousins? Why does everything lead to, it's all by design, and your cousins keep doing the same old, they keep doing the same old mouth, they keep looking at the same old picture, they don't want to take no kind of responsibility. Absolutely. They don't want to put in, my people perish for what?
The lack of knowledge. Yes, sir.
Faith without what? Just like you said, without what?
Faith without works is dead.
It didn't say faith without a gun, it didn't say faith without the most powerful and deadliest and dangerous man that ever walked this earth. I ain't talking about God, because God is not a man that he should lie. But the most powerful, the most threatening, the most searing man to the enemy or to the evil or to anything that's got darkness to it is not a man with a gun in his hand. It's not a man with a rifle in his hand. Not a man that can sit there and go knock down mountains and knock down people, because I can do that. The bottom line is, the most dangerous man is a man with a book in his head, because then he has found his surroundings. Because I can go around the world just by sitting in the library reading a book.
Right. I don't want to cut you off, but I want, I'm gonna wrap up. So this.
No, go ahead. I just want to say that you are absolutely correct. You sit still, then you have no will. You know what I'm saying? You sit still, you get what you get.
Absolutely.
Because it's coming at you whether you want to move or not. If you don't want to be X-lax, you don't want to be backdrop, you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't want to move, it's going to move you. Absolutely. Straight to a grave, but it ain't going to be ugly.
Absolutely. Thank you, darling. I appreciate you every time.
Okay.
All right, honey.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right, y'all. Like I said, you and we are being given the warnings. We're being given warnings. You're being given warnings. You're given signs and some time, just some time, because we don't know. We don't know. Don't take days, times, moments, thoughts, ideas, information for granted. Okay? Pay attention to everything. Get out of fear. It's made up. People say they trust in God, they trust the Most High, all this, but then won't move according to the Most High's will. Won't move, period. Lord, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I can't. But I said I cleared the path for you. All you got to do is get up and walk. But I'm scared. Okay. Your scared ass is going to perish right where you at. Sit there. Keep that scared ass energy. Be right there. Don't call me. Don't call me. Don't look for me when I sent you a lifeboat. I told you, just get in it. All you got to do, get in it. But I can't walk across this water. But didn't I tell you to go? Yeah. We doing too much. We some hard-headed ass folk. I'm telling you. Just hard-headed. Hard-headed. And it's been said, stiff-necked people. We're being given the opportunity. I'm going to say it as many times as I have to. Throughout these lives, we are being given the opportunities to get it right. We do not have to repeat this. We do not have to be the characters of the next Bible. Okay? We don't have to be. But it's up to us. So with that being said, I love y'all on purpose, with purpose. Please do something. Share this video. And also, I know you've seen it, okay? I've posted several times. I'm in this contest, Fab 40. It says votefab40.com. Please vote for me, okay? I did move to the next level, okay? So I'm in the top 15. I still need your votes. It is to benefit breast cancer awareness, breast cancer foundation, one of them. But I need your vote. So when you see the post, please vote. All you gotta do is click on the link. Just click the picture. It will take you to the actual link for you to vote. You can do a daily, and I need to do this. They're daily votes. They're free daily votes. Or you can also donate. If you donate, let's just say $25, that counts as 25 votes for me. Okay. And again, it goes to the Breast Cancer Foundation, Inc. That's where it goes. Breast Cancer Foundation, Inc. Please, please, please cast your vote for me daily. Now, it takes 2 seconds. Okay. Please do so. For those of you who have done it and continue to do so, I appreciate you. Okay. I just did a show Friday on Let's Talk, which is also being shown on Roku. So if you have Roku, make sure you go to MJ Own on your smart TV, MJ Own network, and Let's Talk, LETTS, with author Dre and check me out. Check me out. I think this might be for next month, but just go there. Check her out. Okay, just go. All right. Again, I love you all on purpose, with purpose. And until I see you again, peace.